Hello, seventh graders. I just wanted to take a few minutes to go over your very first home thinking of the year. Congratulations on completing it. So let me get right to it. This first one is just asking you to find which angles were acute, which ones were obtuse, and which ones were right. So acute angles are the little small cute ones. So where the door is kind of barely open, less than 90 degrees. So that's this one here, C, and this one here, E, since the arrow is on the inside of the angle. The obtuse angles are the ones where the door is kind of wide open, more than 90 degrees. So that's right here. You've swung it all the way out. That is A. And then this one right here looks like it's a little bit more than 90 degrees, angle F. And one thing that you can always do to test is if you have just like a little note card, any kind of piece of paper, a Post-it note, you have perfect right angles there, and you can always kind of hold that right up to your screen or your paper and see if an angle is more than 90 degrees, if it extends beyond that, or if it's like hidden by it, you know that it's less than 90 degrees. And then our exact right angles, if you hold that corner of a paper up, you'll see angle B and angle D are exactly 90 degrees. Okay, for number 11 here, we're asked to give the degree measure of each angle, and we're going to have to do a little work with fractions here. So for A, it says to find 1/6 of a right angle. So that means, let me get a pen here. That means we are doing 1/6 of 90 degrees. Okay, so you have a fraction here. So to do that, you could, since it's just 1/6, you could just divide 90 by 6 and you'll get 15. If you want to do it like an actual like fraction problem, you could think of 90 as 90 over 1, and you could just multiply across the top, which gives you 90. And then multiply across the bottom is 6. And then we still end up doing 90 divided by 6. Remember, a fraction bar like that really just means division. Okay, for B, you're finding 3/4 of a right angle. Actually, I'm going to get a little, see if I can make my pen a little skinnier. Can I? Maybe not. Okay, so for B, you are doing 3/4 of 90. So again, you could do 90 over 1. And if you want to just do it like fractions, you would do 3 times 90. That would give you 270 over 4 times 1 is 4. And if you do that division, if you do 270 divided by 4, you will get 67.5. So you get 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract 30. 4 into 30 is 7, 28. And you have 2 left over. 2 out of 4, 2/4, or 4 into 20 gives you that 67.5. For C, it's asking for 5/4 of a right angle. So that's actually a little bit more than a whole right angle because it's 5/4. So if we do, C, we have 5/4 of 90. Now, another thing is maybe in that last problem, maybe you figured out 1/4 of 90 degrees was 22.5. and multiplied it by 3. So you could have used that information here and just multiplied by 5. Or if we stick with this, we get 5 times 90, that's 450 divided by 4. And again, you can just do the 450 divide by 4, and you'll get 112.50. For D, you have 5/3 of a 90 degree angle. Remember, of just means times. Now this one, actually, I would just choose to do in my head probably, because I know 1/3 is easy to find of 90, because 1/3 is just dividing by 3. And since 90 divided by 3 is 30, I would just say, okay, well, 1/3 is 30. So then 5 times 30 is 150, right? If you have a 90-degree angle and you're finding 1/3, then 1/3, each third, right, is going to be 30. Another 30 and another 30. So if you have 5 of those, then it's 150. For E, you're doing 2/3 of a full turn. So if you think of a circle as a full rotation, remember that's 360. So if you think of it as 2/3, right, you're going 1/3 and then another third. Well, 1/3 of 360 is 120. So then another 120, that would give you that 240. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause and rewind and listen to it again if it's not making sense. That's the beauty of a video. Okay, for F, we want 1.5 full turns. So imagine someone, on a ski jump. They go all the way around and then another turn, another half turn. So that means they went 360 to start plus another half turn, which is another 180. So together, that gives you that 540. That's kind of messy. Okay, let's erase all that and move on. Again, feel free to listen to any part of that again if I went too fast. Okay, and then let's move down here to number 13 through 16. So here we're looking at, basically, it's not calling it, but we're looking at supplementary and complementary angles. So you can see that on number 13, these two angles are supplementary because together they form a straight line. So since right here they form a straight line where they're combined, we know that 30 plus x has to equal 180. So that's this equation right here. We have 30 plus the unknown angle add up to 180. So the thing that makes that true is if that is 150, my pen is not working. If this is 150, then 150 plus 30 equals 180. You can get that just by basically subtracting that off of the 180. Okay, for number 14, exactly the same type of problem. Again, we have a straight angle here together. So we know this unknown number, x, plus 125 has to add up to exactly 180. So here, again, we have x plus 125 equals 180. If you subtract 125 off, you will be left with this portion right here being 55. Okay, those two together add up to 180. Those were supplementary. For 15 and 16, we have, for 15, we have complementary angles because you can see here it forms exactly a right angle. So we know those two numbers are now going to add up to 90 degrees. So we have x plus that 27 adds up to 90. And if you subtract off that 27, you will find that this must be 63 for those to add up to 90. On number 16, here we have what we call a reflex angle. So this part out here that goes all the way around the outside, that added to the 35 gives us a full 360. So here we have x plus 35 equals the full rotation 360. So if you just cut out or subtract off that 35, we're left with 325 degrees all the way around the outside. Again, feel free to pause and rewind if you need to review any of that. Okay, moving right along here to number 17. This one, by the way, I'll give you a little hint. There's a problem like this on your first quiz, so make sure this makes sense. All right, at the start of each hour, the minute hand points straight up at 12. Determine the angle between the minute hand at the start of an hour and the minute hand after the given amount of time passes. Okay, so if we have this clock here, let's say, oops, let me go get a pen instead. Okay, I don't know why that got all gray. Oh well. Okay, so let's say we have, oh my. No, let's redo that. Okay, let's say we have our circle. And we want to know after 15 minutes. So remember the minute hand starts up at noon. It said straight up at 12. And after 15 minutes, hopefully you guys know how to tell time on an actual clock. After 15 minutes, it's pointing at the 3. So they want to know, what is this angle right here when it's gone from the 12 to the 3? And if you put your little corner of something in there, you can see that's exactly 90 degrees. So now we're asking for B after 30 minutes. So that one also pretty easy. If you're up at 12 and you go all the way down to the 6, that's going to be a straight line up and down. So that's 180 degrees. For C, we're looking at 20 minutes. So this one, if you imagine right here was like 15 minutes, then 20 minutes is going to go all the way to the 4. And there's a few different ways that you can think about this. One, it's a third of an hour, right? Because you could think 20 minutes, then another 20 minutes is 40 minutes, then another 20 minutes would be the full hour. So that's a third of an hour, which is 120. Another way that you can think about it is think about each 5-minute interval on the clock. So you can see here there's 12 little 5-minute intervals, right? From here to here, here to here, here to here. So if you figure out, like if there's 360 degrees all the way around and you cut that into 12 pieces, 360 divided by 12, because there's 12 numbers, you will get 30. So what that means is between each number is 30 degrees. Okay, so if you're going from here, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that's basically 30, 60, 90, 120. So that's where we get that 120 there. For D, a full hour, that's going all the way around. It's a full rotation, and a full rotation is 360 degrees. For E, for 5 minutes, that's basically what we just did here. Every 5 minutes is going to be 30 degrees. Okay, if you go by 30s all the way around the clock, you will get back to 360. And then for F, you are doing 1.5 hours. So your time would go, the minute hand would go all the way around to 12 and then all the way back down here to 6. So it's going to be 360 degrees plus 180. Actually, I think that's the same basically as, isn't there a problem up here like that? 1.5 rotations? Yeah, it's like F from that problem up there. Okay. Then the last problem is just about a piece of pizza, slices of pizza. So if you take a full pizza and cut it into 6 pieces, it's just asking how many degrees is each piece. So if you have your pizza and you cut it into 6 pieces, you're basically taking, the 360 and dividing by 6. So 360 divided by 6 is 60. For B, if you're cutting it into 8 pieces instead, I cannot get this quite right, then you can kind of see that each of those is half of a 90-degree angle, so that's 45, or you can just do 360 divided by 8. And for C, 360 divided by 10 gives you 36. All right, thanks for hanging in there. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to come to office hours, send me an email, anything like that. All right, have a great day.